Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Shermaine, aka Terramageddon, coming at y'all with a discussion video today. We're gonna be talking about Evolve and all that DLC yumminess that the game has launched with. Now, I had a lot of fun playing with Evolve. Evolve is a pretty fun game to me, whether you're playing as the hunters or the monster. I did enjoy the time I had with Evolve during the big alpha and the beta. You know, it's a game that's fun. I enjoyed it. And I wish Turtle Rock success, because I mean, you know, you kind of wish that all developers do well, you know what I mean? They put a lot of work into the game. But it doesn't change the fact that Evolve on launch day had shipped with a fuckload of DLC, a shitload of DLC. I'm gonna read a quick article. We're gonna sift through it real fast, and just to give you an idea what's going on. Turtle Rock Studios already revealed plans for Evolve's monstrous amount of downloadable content prior to the game's launch, but even that doesn't include the more than $60 worth of skins and cosmetic items for sale. Now, let's just take that first little intro paragraph. If a developer from the get-go, from months before the game is even in like a gold state, even in a beta state, like a full beta state, they're transitioning into the beta state, to already say that you got plans for DLC, that kind of, there's a flag goes up in my head, like, okay, shouldn't DLC be after the game's done? So why are you talking about it now when you haven't finished the game? You know, you focus on the task at hand, not the task after the task, you know, not the task after the current task. You don't really do that until you're almost done. And still at that point, for you to already start developing like characters and monsters and other stuff to be added later, to me that kind of signals that it should have been in the game in the first place. If you're going to already start talking about DLC early in the development cycle, and then hold this shit off till later, like, nah, I don't know about that. You know, that just seems kind of, y'all feel me? Like, that's one thing that really aggravates me in a lot of shooters. When we talk just shooters, when we talk about, let's say, maps, you have an idea for a map, you start working on it, you get close, you get about 50% done, and then they scrap the idea for the map, and then it shows up in a DLC later. Why wasn't it included in the fucking game in the first place? And then you're gonna put it in the first DLC map like 2 months later? That's so dumb. That's so dumb to me. And that's where one of the issues is in just gaming in general, is the line has been blurred between what is DLC and what should already be on the game. And we have been burned by multiple games, and it sets a precedent for DLC. And you know, you're left with an overlooming cloud of doubt when it comes to downloadable content, that you have to pay extra money to get this content after the game is released, when it probably should have been in the game in the first place. You know what I mean? A la Destiny, that's the biggest example. And it just makes you kind of really have to proceed cautiously with DLC to begin with. And that's not even that's concerning DLC after launch, not even DLC, you know, before launch. Like, I'm starting to get like day one DLC, like really? Like, really? Why isn't that in the game in the first place? You know what I mean? And that's just the first paragraph of this damn article. The game's Xbox One DLC hub spans 4 pages and includes 44 items, both bundles and individual gets for purchase. A quick breakdown. 24 skins are available for $1.99, while 9 are priced at $2.99. If you purchase each item individually, then it'll cost you $74.67. However, buying all the available bundles, there are 8 for $4.99, 3 for $6.99, rings in at $60.89. So, you buy the full game, $64.94. Then, let's say you buy all the DLC, $60.89. That's over 120 bucks, right there. Over 120 bucks, and that's not even including Evolve's Hunting Season Pass. Can you believe that? You have a Season Pass that's $24.99. You get, let's see, None of the see right here. None of the included games or the DLC associated with it. With the Evolve Season Pass, players get access to 3 exclusive skins to the pack, 4 new hunters. Hunters will be available for individual purchase upon release for $7.49. So you're telling me that you have to pay for the Evolve Season Pass. You get 4 new characters. Then you want to get all the skins for all the said characters, and that's $60. Not even. If you buy those individually, $74.67. Dude. You can buy all the DLC and the season pass and pay almost twice as 1.5 times the amount of a normal game just for DLC, and most of it is cosmetic just to change how your fucking character looks, and you can't even look at your own character, so why does it fucking make a difference unless it's the monster skins? Okay, I understand that a little bit, because it's a big body. You're gonna see how they, while they're moving around or flying around, if you're the Kraken and stuff like that's kind of cool, but why would you want to put flames on your gun? The fuck, like that shit's dumb. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And there's like fuckloads of editions out there, so you can get this this amount of DLC with the game and stuff like that. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like that shit is that's just kind of crazy when you think about it. Seriously, that shit's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like that's the thing. From the get-go, the developers have been saying that this game, there was clear intentions to sell DLC from the beginning. It was built to sell the DLC hub. And right there, if you're saying that in the early stages of development, we're going to sell you a lot of DLC. Okay. And so that means that you have to be already creating the DLC to be saved, because if you're going to sell us DLC like personalization packs way down the line, if Evolve doesn't last, then those packs, that extra content wouldn't reach anybody because player bases are low. So it makes sense to put them in from the get-go, which is kind of a fucked up, practice, because you're creating shit that should be added down the line. That's the idea of DLC, but now you're developing it prior, and it's going to be in the game since day one, which signifies to me that the shit should have already been in the game free to be able to customize your player, but it's not. It's being in there for DLC. That's kind of garbage, That's kind of garbage. And, somebody mentioned the idea of Evolve is the structure is like a free-to-play game, which, it kind of makes sense because there's not a whole lot in the game. Evolve is like Titanfall in the respect that it's the gameplay and the fun that keeps you coming back. Now, personally, I didn't have enough fun to justify a $60 purchase price. So that's why I wasn't going to buy the game. Maybe after a discount or something like that. And still, probably not. So, they want you to fork up $60 up front, and then you have all that DLC. And, the CEO said they're just options, which, yeah, kind of. They're kind of just options. But why do you have so many options? Why aren't at least 1 or 2 of them in the game to make your character look a little bit different? Like, man, that just kind of, That just kind of, you know what I'm saying? And there was a quote from a developer at Turtle Rock. I don't have the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of this. 100 families needed this game to be successful so they can get taken care of. And the $60 price wasn't going to cut it, apparently. So you don't have enough faith in your game, so you're gonna create fuckloads of DLC, hoping that players will buy it. Just make a great game. You make a great game, people will, you build it, they will come. You make a great game, people, everyone's gonna buy it. Plain and simple. That's kind of bullshit. Like, did you not put enough love into the game? And that doesn't make sense to me. That's almost like they're trying to guilt trip you into buying a fucking, at least one DLC pack or something like that. And it's fucking cosmetic at that. Just to change how your character looks. Why? That is so dumb. I never understood why people got so excited and bought, especially in Call of Duty, with all their I always say that when I say it fast, microtransaction to put rubber ducky skins on your gun, space cats. Really? Was that worth your money? And that's the same thing you gotta ask when you have Evolve. Is it worth the money? just to add flames on your laser cutter or some shit, just to change how Hank looks. Instead of a backwards cap, he's wearing a cowboy hat or something like that. No, no, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. And Evolve would be a great free-to-play game because there's not a whole lot going on, not a whole lot of modes, not a whole lot of characters. Well, you know, I never complain about characters in the first place because, you know, people complained in Titanfall there was not enough Titans when I thought the balance and mix was perfect. But, you know, there's not a whole lot of monsters, and then you're closing off a monster. So what? There's Kraken and what's his fucking name? Goliath. There might be another one, but then that Behemoth is a pre-order incentive. So, you know, people who buy the game a day later can't get them. So that's kind of garbage. And then you have all these you have all the DLC launching that you've clearly said from the very beginning that you want it. You're going to build Evolve to sell us DLC from the beginning, and then you come out with over $60 worth of DLC. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like I said before, DLC is meant to be added to the game later. Knowing that Evolve probably might not do, fearing for the worst, I believe their mindset was fearing for the worst. The DLC that they were going to add later on, it had no guarantee of being bought because player bases change dramatically, especially in this day where people play a game and then put it down like 2 days afterwards. They decided to put it in the very beginning of the game, so there was an incentive to buy it from the very beginning. And it was in your face from the very beginning, and you might think, oh man, you know, I kind of want to see how it looks. It's only $2.99. Why not, you know, and buy that. And then have the season pass. It just begs the question, like, why wasn't this... First of all, why is this DLC in the first place? You know, why is this DLC in the first place when it probably should have been in the game? And that goes back to the statement that I made that the line's been blurred between DLC and what should be in a game. So, yeah, what do you guys think about all this shit, man? What do you think about the 100 families and the $60 wasn't gonna cut it? DLC in day one and having so much of it and it all being cosmetic. Like, come the fuck on, man. That's stupid. And what do you think about them having clear intentions from the beginning to sell DLC to players? So that's pretty much going to do it for me, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think about what's going on with Evolve and all the DLC practices and the business practices. So yeah, that's going to do it.